The time machine hummed and whirred, its gears grinding as it transported me back thousands of years into the past. The air grew thick with the scent of damp earth and the sound of rustling leaves filled my ears. I had arrived in the Holocene epoch, a time when mammoths still roamed the earth and saber-toothed cats stalked their prey. As I ventured deeper into the prehistoric forest, I stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood a magnificent creature, unlike anything I had ever seen before. It was the Aurochs, a colossal beast with massive horns and a powerful build. The Aurochs, sensing my presence, turned its head towards me. Its eyes, large and intelligent, held a wisdom that spoke of ages past. I felt a strange connection with this creature, a sense of kinship that transcended time. "Welcome, young traveler." The Aurochs spoke in a voice that rumbled like distant thunder. "I am Boss Primigenius, the Aurochs. What brings you to my time?" I explained to the Aurochs that I had come from the future, a time when his kind had long since vanished. He listened intently, his head tilted slightly as if in contemplation. "Ah, so you come from a time when the world is much changed," he said. "Tell me, what is it like in your time?" I described the world I knew, a world of towering cities, machines that could fly, and communication that spanned the globe. The Aurochs listened with fascination, his eyes widening in wonder. "It sounds like a world of great progress," he said. "But I cannot help but wonder if it has come at a cost." I thought about the environmental challenges facing my time, the pollution and climate change that threaten the planet. I realized that the Aurochs, with his deep connection to nature, might have insights that could help us. "What was your world like?" I asked. "What challenges did you face?" The Aurochs sighed. "My world was a vast and wild place, filled with ancient forests and sprawling grasslands. We, the Aurochs, roamed these lands in great herds, grazing on the lush vegetation. Our lives were not without danger, of course. We were preyed upon by wolves, bears, and even humans." "How did you survive?" I asked. "We survived through our strength, our size, and our unity," the Aurochs replied. "Our horns were our most formidable defense, and we used them to protect ourselves and our young. We also lived in close-knit herds, which made it difficult for predators to pick us off one by one. But eventually your kind disappeared," I said. "What happened?" The Aurochs' eyes grew distant as he recalled the events of the past. "The forests began to shrink as humans cleared the land for agriculture," he said. "Our food sources dwindled, and we were forced to compete with domestic cattle for grazing land. At the same time, humans hunted us relentlessly for our meat and hides. Our numbers declined, and eventually we were no more." I felt a pang of sadness for the Aurochs and his kind. They had been magnificent creatures, and it was a tragedy that they had vanished from the earth. "What can we learn from your story?" I asked. The Aurochs looked at me with a knowing smile. "We can learn that even the mightiest of creatures can be vulnerable to change," he said. "We can also learn that it is important to live in harmony with nature, for our own survival depends on it." With those words, the Aurochs turned and walked away, disappearing into the depths of the prehistoric forest. I stood there for a moment, pondering his words. I knew that I would never forget my encounter with the Aurochs, and that his story would stay with me forever. As the time machine whirred back to life, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. I was determined to do everything I could to protect the environment and ensure that the mistakes of the past were not repeated.